Greetings, everyone. I am Dr. Wolf here at Everfree Northwest, and I just finished watching the episode Hard to Say Anything. It's a bit of a different entry in the series, I'll give you that. A lot of surprises around every turn. Hey,
you know what we should do?
What should we do?
We should kill Featherbang. Kill Featherbang. You wanna? Huh? Do you wanna kill Featherbang?
I take it he wasn't too interested in that particular character.
Actually, I have a whole lot to say, but I feel the need to be more, bipedal. Can we do a jump cut? Hello.
He has the most interesting introductions.
Yes.
Almost like a James Bond villain.
I wouldn't dare. Fleshy Pup Studios made this. She did a magnificent job.
Yeah, definitely nice. So,
as was this episode.
The both of us knew about this episode coming up for at least a few weeks, so we knew that Big Mac would be getting, according to the synopsis, his first crush on Sugar Belle of all ponies.
And that's a little weird because, like many fans, were like, well, what about Marble Pie? And thus I must bid a fond farewell to the sinking ships of Flutter Mac, Marble Mac, Cheery Mac, Celestia Mac, Luna Mac, Twilight Mac, Rainbow Mac.
Big Mac is shipped with every pony, goodness. And I'm sure he'll still be shipped with every pony even after an episode like this.
Oh, yes.
The fans will never stop with that, and that's okay.
Never ever. But this was a fun episode. I mean, one, it's nice to see Big Mac in a role where he's still the long-suffering character, but he's not embarrassed nonstop. It's not degrading his dignity. If anything, you feel for him. This is the classic guy's trying to win the girl's heart, and he has no genuine idea how to do that. But it helps that the Crusaders are there to be sort of his less than helpful shoulder angels.
Yes. It is the kind of story setup that's been done a lot. A whole lot. But I do appreciate that they gave us a couple of different twists on that same setup. Just a couple.
And I appreciate that the Crusaders, Philly Forever really stressed that they'd grown up, that they had clients, they had a business. This one, they were more excitable kids again.
Oh, yeah.
And it's good to see that still. I enjoy the Crusaders as excitable kids.
And still trying to act like adults, even though they are very clearly still interested in fairy tales, was it? That Sweetie Belle basically said, I was young when I was reading these stories. Well, I was younger on the way here.
It was a long trip. Although it's funny, J.R. Tolkien, Chronicles of Narnia. Why am I suddenly having a mind break? Narnia.
Yes.
The author, he read...
C.S. Lewis.
Thank you.
There we go.
It's only Saturday of Everfree Northwest, but we've been going full tilt. So,
oh, yeah.
Brain's just a little fried. But C.S. Lewis once said, as a child, I still read fairy tales. As a teenager, I did and would have been embarrassed. Now I'm over 60 and I read them openly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you never really have to stop enjoying the things you like. As long as you, it's a balance. Says the bronies.
Of course.
And actually, Everfree Northwest gives us an interesting perspective on this because we had the pleasure of interviewing Vincent Tong on a panel who was the voice for Featherbangs? Featherbangs. Featherbangs.
We had no idea that this character was coming up.
Destroy Featherbangs.
Yes. Throughout the episode, Silver kept saying, kill him. Kill Silverbangs. Destroy him.
Battle the Beavers.
This was so clearly a Bieber parody right from the get-go. I mean, almost from the opening scene, you're like, are they really? They are! They're doing a Bieber parody.
They're doing a Bieber parody, and I'm kind of waiting. Go, Cutie Crusaders Hitmen! It's the only way.
Okay.
Oh, what can I say? Actually, it is funny. He was such a perfect Bieber parody. And yet all I could think of was a magazine cover Bieber had done for promotion where they made up him to look like he'd been in a fight. I had very violent thoughts today. I don't know what's going on. But it's funny that Vincent Tong is the voice actor. And yet, in some ways, this character reflected what he talked about yesterday.
Yeah. One of the questions that Silver Quill came up with yesterday was talking about Vincent Tong, how he had a background in musicals, and that are we ever going to hear, say, Flash Sentry do a song on MLP? Well, we didn't get to hear Flash Sentry do a song, but Vincent Tong can certainly sing. This episode certainly makes that clear.
Yes, he's a very talented artist. No need for that auto-tune.
They'll do it anyway because, again, Bieber parody.
But one other thing that Vincent said was that he empathized with Flash Sentry and the awkwardness of just approaching talking to a young woman, someone of the opposite sex. It's not something that comes naturally, and so he empathizes with that feeling of awkwardness. Which, honestly, the first sincere thing about Featherbang was that at the end, he's like, I can impress people, but just talking to them as regular people, scary.
That was the moment where you could actually really connect to the character, and I'm glad that they didn't just write him off for the rest of the episode once he had been turned down. But I'm sure it's giving the CMC a lot of more interesting ideas. I mean, can you imagine them going back to Ponyville and starting to ship every pony in sight?
Meanwhile, from the Crystal Empire, Cadence is shaking her hoof. That's my job!
I'm sure people will start writing fan fictions about that, though.
It'd be fun.
Oh, yeah. Now, as for Big Mac himself, I am glad that they at least talked about the fact that, hey, this was a thing way back in Season 2, Hearts and Hooves Day, and he very clearly said to the Cutie Mark Crusaders, no love potions.
He's very firm. You might say he's putting his hoof down.
Ha! Of course, yes.
Of course.
I am a little curious as to why this comes out of the blue now in Season 7. But are they going to be building on it in the future?
Well, we might see Big Mac taking a lot more trips to town. Would they really need to name this place?
Yeah, they should name this place. Goodness, they talked about this town that Starlight Glimmer built. That's what they said in the episode, I think.
Yeah. And Sugar Bell has a marvelous description. Here's the town.
We have one road.
We have one road. And they replaced Starlight's own house with a tree.
I didn't notice that. Yeah, they did replace that house.
Yeah, it's two parallel rows of houses, and Starlight's was at the cap, but now it's a tree.
You'd think that somebody would have just taken residence there. No, they had to knock it down? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, I imagine they were a little cheesed at Starlight for a while, until she came back.
They forgave her.
They forgave her. But there's enough time to get a demolition team in there.
Yeah, okay. Maybe they wanted to remove the house that had a secret passage. Maybe that's part of it.
Oh yeah, don't let him sneak back into town. But I love Big Mac in this. He's still his quiet, reserved self, but he's emoting more. He's showing more of himself, and we empathize with people who struggle, and so seeing him try his best and just becoming disheartened really makes him stand out.
I still believe his best appearance in the whole series is Brother Hoof's Social. That is easily the most character development he's ever had in any episode. But this might be a close second, in my mind. What do you think?
I think that's very much the case. Brother Hoof's Social, kind of like when, Featherbangs. I keep forgetting. Yeah. Kind of when Featherbangs is just honest about his feelings at the end of this, Big Mac being honest with his feelings towards his sister and just wanting to be more a part of her life. That really, that tugs on the heartstrings. Oh, you were doing it.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it's the heart. That's what I meant. I didn't mean represent, but
oh, come on.
Whatever.
Come on.
Okay.
Big Mac squad into hizzy.
Ha! Okay. Let me think here.
There may actually be two ships coming out of this episode. Because this is how shipping works. If two ponies of same or opposite gender are together, people can create a ship. So Party Favor and Night Glider.
That's true, yeah. They were sharing a table.
They were sharing a table.
For about 2 seconds of the episode, but that's all the fandom needs.
And this is the nice thing about ships. They mean as much or as little as you want. So if you still like Flutter Mac or Marble Mac or Cheery Mac, this is a relationship. It may be the future. It may be just a phase. Don't let the show dictate what you enjoy.
I don't know whether they're ever going to build on this. It would be interesting if they built on this eventually. I mean, can you imagine a story where Big Mac decides, I'm going to move away to be with Sugar Belle?
That would actually be a really good Applejack episode.
Yes. It would be about the family moving on, yet still staying close together, even at great distances. There's a lot of great morals you can get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it would mean taking Big Mac out of Ponyville, and I don't know if the show writers would ever do that. Maybe it would end up being Sugar Belle at the very end decides, you know what, maybe I should come live in Ponyville instead. And then they just...
Although, I will say, that town is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of nowhere. They want to expand. Having a farm, that would be a magnificent challenge for Big Macintosh. Because here's the thing about the apples. Wherever they go, Equestria expands. Brayburn expands the frontier. In the comics, it was not my favorite arc, but a comic called The Good, the Bad, and the Ponies had Applejack's great-granduncle Chili Pepper pretty much founding a town on the other end of Equestria. Mm. They are, by their nature, pioneers, it seems, and they help build towns. So it makes sense for Big Mac to actually go out there. Yeah. And if he goes, he's not out of the show, but now Apple Bloom has a reason to go to other locations and interact with other ponies. Applejack will have a reason to get outside of Ponyville more to see her kin. Mm. I'm not saying, I'm not packing Big Mac's bags for him, but...
It's a story possibility.
I like the idea.
And even if it doesn't happen in the show, fan fiction writers, get on that.
Yes.
Okay. Let's think. What else was there?
Well, let's see. Okay. Where did those other stallions come from? Does Featherbang have like this pocket dimension he just pulls friends out of?
I don't know. Convenience for the story.
And again, Vincent Tong is a magnificent singer. We learned while researching his history, he's worked for Hollywood, Bollywood, has performed. He'll be doing a performance of The Lord of the Rings on stage.
Yes. He also did a bit of LeFou for our Q&A session yesterday. He's actually pretty convincing LeFou for Beauty and the Beast.
And he's also a very hilarious guy. I mean, he was having the whole room laughing. So full of energy. So I'm happy for him that he got to play another pony. I'm sorry that everyone's just going to reinforce the waifu stealer.
Yeah, he's playing another character who's a waifu stealer.
But at the same time, sort of the virtue you could say for Flash Sentry, he tries to impress, but he never forces himself.
Yes.
Featherbang and Big Mac brought out their worst in one another by they were kind of crowding Sugar Belle, but neither of them tried to force the issue.
Well,
they crowded, but they also backed off when she made it clear.
Yeah, they did back off when she made it clear, but the fact that Big Mac was about to catch this falling bag or satchel from Sugar Belle, and then Featherbangs just comes in, mine.
And this is where people say all's fair in love and war.
Yeah.
I actually don't believe that.
The only time in the episode where I have to say, Big Mac, no, please don't do that. He gets in this stuffy outfit and he's like, no, bad touch.
But yeah, do personal space.
Yes, please.
Do not initiate contact.
That was the only time in the episode where I had to say Big Mac's taken things way too far. I know he's flustered. I know he doesn't know how to properly express himself, but you'd think that people would understand, yeah, you do not do that.
What is it? For some reason, I'm thinking of that Will Smith movie, Hitch. He's giving advice to his friend. You lean in 60%, you wait for her to do the other 40%.
You go 90%, and she goes the other 10. That's a better way to think about it.
And then he goes too far. I said you go 90%.
Yeah. Okay.
This is what happens at conventions. I break my friends.
Let's think. What else was there?
The Crusaders and their costumes are fun.
Yeah, it was fun to see them think that they have these fantastic disguises, and that Scootaloo in particular, towards the end, is trying to act like this entirely different character and failing miserably, but having fun while doing it, I'll give you that.
Yes, indeed. But one thing I do really appreciate from this, there are a lot of movies, especially like high school romances or mostly stuff that's marketed toward guys where if you outcompete the other guy, then the girl automatically falls for you. That's so unrealistic, toxic even. I like that this one, Big Mac is a guy who, Peter New himself said this on Twitter, Big Mac is not one who's comfortable expressing himself. He doesn't know how to share his feelings. So physical acts, expressions of support, are how he demonstrates his care. And he found a great way to express himself, help Sugar Belle, and not invade. Even though half a dozen ponies broke into her shop this episode.
Yeah.
Sugar Belle needs to get a lock.
I am glad that they came up with the lesson that they did, showing that fairy tales are not the ideal way to seek out romance. They can inspire and they can make you dream, but it's all about finding your special some ponies, what's important to them, what really leaves an impact on them. Not how you think love should be, but rather expressing love that they would like to receive. So I can appreciate that moral, yes. I am a little turned off by the fact that there's still so many moments in this episode that just make me cringe looking at it, much in the way that Hearts and Hooves Day did. Maybe not to that extent, because there's no schmoopy-doo in this episode. The dialogue wasn't nearly quite so cringeworthy, but still some of the actions make me think, no. But it was still a lot of fun. They inserted a lot of really hilarious moments here and there, and I do appreciate the fact that right from the get-go, you're sitting next to Silver Quill, and he's like, destroy him. Kill him.
Attack. Attack! Attack the feather bang! See, these are the only bangs you need. Feather bangs.
True. Yeah, he has more feathery bangs than the feather bangs of the show, doesn't he?
My mind is breaking.
You have any other thoughts?
Let's see. Well, fairy tales are always interesting. They're so clean cut. They're actually probably the worst examples of romance. Oftentimes it's more about courage in the face of danger, innocence in a world that might want you to give up and become bitter. The romance is often kind of tacked on in my eyes. But hey, when you're young, it inspires you to think. When you get older, you learn to develop on those ideas. So, and the Crusaders, they grew up a little witnessing this. And so when they are someday fillies of their own, and everyone wants them to ship with Thunderlane and Toe Tapper, they'll know what's a really healthy relationship looks like.
That's good to see. I am still curious whether they're going to develop on this story in future seasons, because there's a lot of potential you can do with that. And I'd like to think that, yes, the CMC would have even more chances to grow up, and Applejack too, if Big Mac decided, yes, it is time to move on with his life.
Leave the nest.
Yeah.
But he would be missed in Ponyville.
Absolutely. It would be a show taking kind of a big step, and whether they'd commit to it is still iffy in my mind. But it's a possibility that I would like to see them explore someday, perhaps.
Although now I just have this image of Big Mac packing to head on the road, and all the mares in Ponyville, all the single mares who were just heartbroken or waving goodbye, and he's looking back like, oh.
He was a little more expressive this episode. They kind of had to make him more expressive this episode. He's like, say what?
And in fact, those were the best moments, just where he can't even believe he's hearing this. And yet he goes with it, because the poor guy is so lost. But love makes fools of us all.
True that.
So, all in all, okay, for all my remoting kill Featherbang, I thought this was a lot of fun. I thought he added a nice conflict. He wasn't a jerk, but he was definitely an opportunist.
I do think this episode has more than a few cringy moments that are going to keep me from going back to it again and again. But it is very nicely balanced with a good moral and really fun character moments and some hilarious dialogue. I'm not too big a fan of pop music, but the fact that you had country music and pop music trying to compete with each other and Big Mac is trying to make up rhymes along the way and failing miserably, that was entertaining in and of itself. So, yeah, I probably will come back to this episode a couple of times in the future. Not as much as some of the better episodes because it's just my personal preference to avoid some of those more cringy moments. The same reason I tend to avoid Hearts and Hooves Day to this day, simply because of certain scenes of schmoopy-doo.
Although, compare the cringe in Brotherhood Social to the cringe in this episode. Both force you into moments where you feel for Big Mac, be like,
Yeah, it's hard to watch Brotherhood Social at certain points, but I will give that Brotherhood Social had much more heart at the end that really drew me in. And I can appreciate Brotherhood Social all the more because it went that much further developing Big Mac's character and creating much more of a bond between him and Apple Bloom. There's not as much here, but it still has some parts, yeah.
Some parts. And perhaps we should mention one other thing, because we've been devoting part of the morning to this.
Mm-hmm.
We also got to interview Denny Liu and Tim Stubbe.
Yeah.
And Denny presented a unique challenge to the Bronies. Apparently, in Season 5, just before Starlight launched her time attack, she was in the background of an episode that no one has spotted yet.
According to Denny.
According to Denny, he may be trolling us.
Yes.
There's always that possibility, but we spent a little bit of this morning watching all the songs from Season 5, which some worked better than others.
Yeah.
Again, Brotherhood Social.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to see if Starlight was in... He said it was during a song.
Yeah.
But we have not yet spotted it. So if he's not really trolling us, I'm counting on the sharp eyes of the Brony fandom. Because I'm wearing these for a reason.
We already know that Starlight was spotted in a restaurant behind where Twilight and her friends from Camelot were. That was one appearance. Then there was another appearance when, right after Pinkie Pie did her Back to the Future reference.
Yeah, and that was just
like
bushes with binoculars.
What about Discord? She was in the bushes with binoculars. But Denny says that there is at least one more Starlight Glimmer appearance in Season 5, and it's during a song, and nobody spotted it yet. He's curious if anyone was going to spot it. I tried finding it myself this morning. I couldn't get anywhere just yet, but I only went through each song maybe the once.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of songs in Season 5. So if anyone finds that extra appearance of Starlight Glimmer in the background somewhere, please let us know.
So, and receive Internet Brony fame.
Anything else?
No, I like I say, it's a fun episode. Although, I do want to say, these Canadian early releases, they put a lot of demand on people. Equestria Daily has had to struggle with, do we present the American view time? Do we do the follow-ups after the American release? Or half the fandom is already talking about it, so it's important to keep up with the times, unfortunately. I kind of wish we could pace ourselves, let this episode, but then tomorrow there's going to be another.
Yeah. According to a poll on Equestria Daily thus far, with several thousand votes, it's nearly 60% are watching the early releases, but that also still means that there's more than 40% who are waiting for the American releases. So you have to be really cautious about spoilers no matter where you're going, especially in the convention scene.
Oh, it's hard. We had to stop some people mid-question, like, we can't ask about the movie.
Yeah.
And so such is the nature of fandoms. People move at their own pace. And we've got a full day locked ahead of ourselves.
All right. Well, we may be able to do another first impressions video tomorrow.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We have to determine whether the episode is going to come in clearly because, again, live streaming.
Live streaming, and we're in a hotel at a convention. Wi-Fi is a little stretched.
But we're definitely having fun here during the weekend.
Immensely.
And we'd like to hear your thoughts on Big Mac's new character development. And whether you think the CMC should be having future episodes where they're starting to ship everyone in Ponyville.
And again, Cadence is... Wait, have Cadence come in and offer them some tips.
Yeah. That would be a great episode for Cadence to take part in. CMC are going all over Ponyville trying to be helping people with their ponies with their love problems. And Cadence makes an appearance and gives some sage advice. That would be a wonderful way to give her some character development. Please.
So did we just come up with at least 2 episode ideas for a
Yeah.
future season?
I'd love to see that.
THX, have at it, please.
Yes.
If they were actually watching this
Yeah. Even if DHX doesn't do those ideas someday,
someday.
fan fiction writers, get on that. I want to see those stories.
All right.
But thank you very much, Silver Quill.
Oh, glad to be here.
And looking forward to more panels today.
Oh, yes, it'll be good times.
And as per usual, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Kill Papa Bang!
As always.